9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Security dragged her away after she hit the billionaire. Then the doctors spoke. Section 1: The woman who swept silence. She lives in a world that forgets sometimes. The world only sees what's on the surface. But here at Amaze Stories, we dive deep into the moments that define our humanity. If you believe that kindness is the greatest power of all, show us some love. Her name each sunrise. Every morning before the first bus sighs and the crows finish their quarrel, she ties her faded scarf, takes her mop, and walks through the fog that smells of rain and metal. The city does not see her, but she sees it all, its secrets spilled on floors, its pride reflected in glass. She works in the tallest building in the district, the one that scrapes the sky like a blade. They say a great man owns it, a man of money so vast that numbers bow before him. He is called a billionaire, a word that glitters but does not glow. She has seen him only from afar, once in the mirrored lobby, once stepping into his silver car. Each time, she lowered her eyes. Such men do not notice cleaners, they notice only reflections. Her days follow a rhythm older than clocks. Sweep, wipe, rinse, repeat. Her hands know the corners where dust hides its shame. She hums to herself, small tunes from her grandmother's voice. Songs about rivers that forget their banks, about kindness that hides beneath stones. And though her life is small, her heart is not. She sends half her earnings to a sick mother in the village, and with the other half she buys bread and soap. The guards in the lobby greet her with half smiles. "Morning, auntie," they say, not knowing her name, thinking the word polite enough. She nods, grateful even for that. She has learned that dignity sometimes lives in silence. The billionaire arrives each day at 8. His shoes never touch dirt. His watch gleams like a sun trapped in gold. He walks through the lobby with the stillness of command, surrounded by people who speak only when he breathes. To them, he is not a man, but a storm that signs paychecks. One morning, as she mops near the fountain, she notices a tremor in him, a strange falter, a small stumble quickly hidden. No one else sees it. The guards look away, the assistants hurry forward, and the glass doors swallow him whole. But she, who watches what others ignore, keeps the image in her mind. Days pass. The air thickens with rumor. The great man grows restless, impatient, ill-tempered. Some say the burden of wealth is heavy. Others whisper of a heart weakened by greed. She says nothing. Her work continues: clean, rinse, wring, hum. Then comes the day that cracks the pattern. The morning is darker than usual, clouds pressing low, the fountain silent. She enters the lobby early and finds the air strange, heavy like the pause before thunder. When the billionaire arrives, his face is pale, his steps uncertain. He brushes aside his secretary's hand and walks toward the elevator, but halfway there, he stops. His fingers clutch his chest, his mouth opens, but no word escapes. The bucket tips. The mop clatters. She runs. The guards freeze. The assistants stare. Only she moves, guided not by reason, but by the old stories her grandmother told, that when someone falls, the earth waits to see who kneels first. She catches him as he sinks. His eyes roll back, his breath rattles like a trapped bird. "Sir," she whispers, "sir, stay with me." Her hands shake, her mind blurs. She remembers what she has seen on television, people pressing, calling, shaking. Desperation takes her hand, and before she can think, she slaps his cheek to wake him. Once. Then again, harder. It is that sound, the sound of skin meeting power, that will echo through the building before the truth can speak. Section 2: The slap that shook the lobby. The sound strikes louder than thunder in marble halls. Every head turns. Security rushes from their posts, confusion flashing in their eyes. The billionaire lies still, and beside him kneels the cleaner. Her palm trembling, her eyes wide with fear and pity. "What have you done?" someone shouts. The words fall like stones. In moments, strong hands grip her arms. The mop water seeps between their feet, carrying away the faint streak of her courage. They drag her from the man she tried to save. She tries to explain, but her words scatter like frightened birds. "He fell, he couldn't breathe. I tried to help, yet no one listens." To them, the story is already written. A poor woman struck a rich man. The camera saw the motion, not the mercy. Security shouts orders. One presses his ear to the billionaire's chest, calling for an ambulance. Others keep her pinned. The assistants whisper, their faces pale, their voices trembling like reeds. The crowd grows, a sea of phones raised high, recording her disgrace. As they haul her through the glass doors, she catches her reflection, a small woman with grey in her hair, guilt painted across her face by 1,000 watching eyes. She thinks of her mother, her village, her prayers. What story will reach them now? They take her to a narrow room behind the lobby, where walls are painted the color of old paper. They leave her there, guarded by silence and suspicion. She sits, shivering. The wetness on her palms feels like proof of a crime she never meant to commit. Outside, sirens wail. The city stirs. The world of money trembles for a moment, then steadies itself again. The billionaire is carried away on a stretcher, his pale face hidden beneath oxygen tubes. Hours pass. Questions come like arrows. Who is she? What did she want? Why did she strike him? She answers as best she can. He fell. I tried to help. I swear. But the words sound small against the weight of accusation. By evening, rumors bloom like weeds. She attacked him. She went mad. Maybe she wanted revenge. Stories multiply faster than truth can walk. And still she waits, her fate suspended in air thick with judgment. She does not weep. Instead, she remembers her grandmother's saying, "When the river floods, the fish accuse the tree." Section 3: The Whisper of Guilt. Night falls like a blanket soaked in sorrow. She sits on the cold bench, alone except for her thoughts, which circle like crows. She wonders if kindness is a curse, that those who help must sometimes wear the mask of the guilty until truth wakes. She thinks of her childhood, of stories told by candlelight. Of the midwife accused of witchcraft, because she saved a life in a strange way. Of the shepherd who struck the king's horse to save it from a snake and was punished until the wound revealed the truth. Folktales, yes, but tonight they feel like family. A knock interrupts her thoughts. A man in a dark suit enters, an investigator, polite but distant. He asks questions that feel like traps disguised as sympathy. Did you touch him before he fell? Did you argue with him? Do you understand how serious this is? She answers softly, honestly. Yet every truth she offers is weighed and found wanting. He writes her words down, but not her tone, not her trembling, not her heart. Paper cannot record innocence. Hours later, she is released, not freed, but dismissed. Go home, they say. We will call you if we need more. The city outside has turned to mirrors of rain. She walks through puddles that ripple with doubt. At home, her mother calls. Child, the old woman's voice quivers through the phone. What is this they say on the news? And though she tries to explain, her mother's heart cannot untangle the threads. The words hit, and billionaire sit side by side like thorns. Sleep does not come. She prays instead, for the man's life, for her own name, for truth to rise faster than lies. She tells herself that dawn will bring clarity. But dawn, like people, sometimes arrives with judgment instead of light. Section 4. When the doctors spoke. Morning comes, and with it the noise of headlines. Cleaner assaults tycoon. Violence in the tower. Faces she has never seen speak about her on screens she cannot afford. But then, a softer rumor begins to hum beneath the storm. Someone at the hospital says the billionaire is alive. Another says he asked for the woman who saved him. By afternoon, the truth walks through the city, barefoot but steady. The doctors call a press conference. Cameras blink like restless eyes. The incident, one doctor says, has been misunderstood. The billionaire suffered cardiac arrest. The cleaner's quick action, her attempts to revive him, kept oxygen flowing until help arrived. The slap seen on video was an act of resuscitation, not aggression. The words fall like rain after drought. People murmur. The tide turns. Those who condemned her now whisper apologies, too soft to reach her ears. At sunset, a car stops outside her small room. A messenger brings a note on fine paper. He wishes to see you. Section 5. The Return of Dignity. She enters the grand hospital room as one might enter a temple, quietly, reverently, unsure if she belongs. The billionaire lies there, pale but awake, his eyes softer than she remembers. When he sees her, he gestures weakly for her to sit. "I owe you my life," he says, his voice thin as thread. "They told me what you did. Forgive the world for not seeing." She lowers her gaze. "There is nothing to forgive, sir. The world sees what it is trained to see. A mop cannot strike without suspicion." He smiles faintly, then surprises her with a question, "What is your name?" And for the first time, in that room of white machines and whispered miracles, she speaks it aloud, not as a confession, but as a blessing. When she returns to work weeks later, the building greets her differently. The guards say her name now. The assistants nod with respect. The fountain runs again, brighter, louder. Yet she remains the same woman who hums old songs while she works, who believes that small hands can change great fates. She does not speak of the incident again. She simply mops, quietly, steadily, as if cleaning away the last traces of misunderstanding from the marble floor. Because she knows now what her grandmother always meant, that truth walks slower than lies, but it never loses its way. And sometimes, when evening light touches the floor just so, it looks like the ground itself remembers her. The woman who struck to save, who was dragged away in shame, and who returned with her name shining brighter than gold. Moral. The hand that strikes in mercy may be misjudged by eyes that see only wealth and power. But in the end, truth stands taller than any tower, and even the humblest act of courage can cleanse the heart of the mighty. Subscribe to Amaze Stories for more emotional journeys and life-changing tales. Thumbs up sign, like and share if you believe truth always finds its way. Speech balloon comment below. What would you have done in her shoes? Amaze Stories, where every soul has a name.